Take it away.
Hi everyone, Cody and Steve here with Class1ModelWorks.com.
We help people build state-of-the-art model railroads. That's our goal. Hey, today we're going to talk about some interesting cars and some interesting containers. And so we have quite a few things that are going to be available the first quarter of next year, 2023. And the first thing we'll talk about is our TWF10. The TWF10 was a high-capacity, high-load car for intermodal that is a very unique and very interesting car. Our models of this car are actually metal with trucks that have never been produced, the Union Wagon trucks. These have never been produced in HO scale before. And this is a very unique car. The way the suspension works in them required the ends to be filled in solid. So it's kind of an interesting design of car. And we're producing this in several different paint schemes, an early, an intermediate, and then a late paint scheme. And these will work with 20-foot containers clear up to 45-foot containers. And of course, we also are producing containers. If you want to talk about the containers and show them what we got.
Sure. So we have these containers here. These are exterior post containers, 48-foot containers, and these really have some extreme detail. We have lettering on all the ends, and if you hold a microscope up to it, magnifying glass, you can see all the lettering. Really neat. We have a couple different varieties. We have a Hyundai and a Monon, just a couple differences between the two and a whole lot of road names to go with those.
What are some of the main differences between the containers that you might notice on your layout?
Yeah. You find a couple here. So the main difference between the Monon container and the Hyundai container, you'll notice on the Hyundai, you have an extra set of retaining latches here on the doors. What do you call those? There's not.
Just rods or door rods.
Door rod.
Yeah.
Those?
Those would just be hinge points.
Hinge points?
Yeah.
Okay. So the main difference between the Hyundai and the Monon containers, you'll notice on your layout, the door rods here, the hinge points, you actually have an extra set on the Hyundai versus the Monon does not. And if you look at the other side, there's a few differences to the lip on top of where the doors would be.
Excellent. And of course, these are double stack cars, so they'll fit beautifully into our car, as will most containers from other manufacturers. And when we designed and built these cars, we took the time to test containers from all manufacturers. And that's really important because one of the issues is of course, interchangeability between different containers, 20 foots, 40 foots, 48 foots, 53 foots. And we took the time to design that. So they all fit in there easily. Nothing is tight. So they're easy to pick up, change out, and such. The other thing we've done is we've done all the silvering on the ribs, which a lot of other manufacturers haven't done in the past. Because a lot of these raised sections here, they would just make the whole side white. So the detail was there, but if you wanted to be accurate as a modeler, you'd have to go back and mask all that off and paint it. We've done all that for you. So
awesome. Those are beautiful.
Thank you.
Right now, all of these products that we've talked about, the TWF10 and the containers, are available for a pre-order online on your website, correct?
Correct. Class1ModelWorks.com. You can go pre-order pretty quick here. They're going to be ready for actual ordering. And I will say this, and it's not a gimmick or anything, a lot of these are selling out. A lot of the containers are already sold out, but most of the 2-packs have sold out. So we're down to kind of some of the single packs, and the cars are selling well too. So if you're an intermodal aficionado and you love intermodal stuff, you want to make sure you can get some of these. They're going to be heading this way from the Orient pretty quick, and the sales have been really brisk. So we're getting low on a lot of the numbers.
So now, staying with the intermodal topic here, are you guys looking at doing more containers in the future? Maybe some trailers, different well cars?
Well, we'll never say no to anything. We'll definitely be doing more of these containers in different road numbers and different numbers, because obviously once you have the tooling done, you want to retool and bring out things on a regular basis because it just makes financial sense to do. So yeah, you betcha we will. So as much as we can do. As for trailers, we will never say no to trailers, but we don't have that plan at this point. Cool. Good afternoon, Stephen Priest with Class1ModelWorks.com. Hey, we're having a fantastic time here at Milwaukee Trainfest. It's great that the show's back. We thank Kalmbach and everybody involved in this for getting her going. So we want to talk a little bit about our first locomotive project, which is the Electromotive Division GP40. It's a 3,000 horsepower locomotive that was originally introduced to the world with a 645 prime mover in 1965. Ironically, that's the same year I was born. So me and this locomotive have some stuff in common besides just being cool. So we're going to offer this as not only a road-specific model, but also a unit detailed specific model, which means if we run 5 road numbers or 6 road numbers of, let's say, the Milwaukee Road G40, each one of those locomotives will be specifically detailed for that road number. And that's a huge thing. And of course, a lot of manufacturers are doing that nowadays. But the neat thing about that is you get actual accurate models, right down to what type of horn, to what type of placement of lettering and things like that. So it's kind of a neat thing. Now, I will say this. Whenever you deal with road specific, there's also a timeline. In other words, let's take again the 2037 here. The 2037 appeared differently throughout her career. So when we do the 2037 here in this particular paint scheme, it actually is correct, but it's only correct for probably 1 or 2 years before they did something else to it. So remember that even though it's a 2037, it may be incorrect for the year you're modeling. So make sure you pay attention to that, and we're going to get some information on that and provide that online as the model gets closer to being finished. So again, really neat models. Are going to be DCC equipped, sound equipped, and there's going to be several things in these locomotives that have never been done before in locomotives, period. So we look forward to bringing these on the market.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on Sean's Trains. I really appreciate it.
You betcha.
And best of luck. I can't wait to see this stuff come through. I got to get my pre-orders in for the flat cars. I can't wait to see the pre-order list for the locomotives. And do you want to talk a little bit about the features for sound and DCC?
We're not going to really announce that yet because they're not solidified yet. The locomotive project is still fairly early, and we're having some custom things built into our decoders. So they're not going to be stock decoders. They're going to be some functionality in there. And so we're still working some of that stuff out and working even with decoder manufacturers. So we're not quite there yet, but it'll be good stuff. I'll just guarantee you that. I'm a hardcore modeler and pretty much know what's going on in the world of model rating, and these will not disappoint.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks again so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of Trainfest and have a safe drive home.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you for having us on your show. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
Hey everyone, this is Mike with Class1Modelworks.com. I'm here today going to show you our brand new latest car that we've got coming out. This is a General Steel Castings high capacity or heavy duty depressed center flat car. These things are really neat. These were all built from kits that GSC sold to each of the different railroads, and then the railroads outfitted them in their own shops. So basically GSC had a one-piece steel casting for the whole deck and a set of trucks that went with it that were sold to the railroads. Railroads then assembled them all and put them together with whatever accoutrements they wanted to do. Dual brake systems on either end of the car. Basically these began, the first one showed up in the late 20s, but the vast majority of these were built from about 1948 to about 1959. So all of these kind of came out in that same era, and most every railroad had at least one of these cars. There's exceptions to that, but most had one. Some others had fleets up to about 30 cars, built in different set of let's call them build orders is probably a good way to put that. So there's unique differences between the cars. Most of those unique differences center around what style trucks were on the cars. These are the Commonwealth trucks. We're starting out with the Commonwealth trucks that GSC made. So GSC made these that were sold along with the decks. Some other railroads opted for 3-axle Buckeye trucks. We're going to work on those for our second run. They won't be on this run, they'll be on the second run. And there were friction bearings and roller bearing trucks. Some railroads had roller bearing trucks right out the gate. Most started with friction bearings. We'll be doing the friction bearings in our second run as well. So there are 3-axle truck that are on here, and you've got a depressed center. We're concentrating on the 21-foot depressed center deck. There were 22 foots, there were 18 foots, there were 26 foots, but there were lesser numbers of that. The greater number were these 21-foot long, 9-foot wide decks, and that's kind of where we're concentrating our model. Now, if you notice as you look at the cars, there's different jacking pad configurations on these cars. Some of these have what we call the A-style jacking pad. So it's kind of a rounded one towards the center of the well. And it kind of got like a little triangular, so we call it, that's where the A-style came from. Others had a square style jacking pad that was mounted out over the trucks. And still others had no jacking pads at all. So we're doing all three different variations of this, whatever's needed for the particular railroad that we're putting out as a model. You will get the proper jack pads and locations on that. One of the other differences in these cars also was the treatment. Most all of these started out with wood decks on the upper platforms here. They're heavy oak planks that were all put on there, and the railroad started with that. Well, as time went along, that planking started to rot and wear and kind of fall apart. So some railroads opted not to reskin them with wood, but instead to change them out and put metal grating on the upper decks and some metal plating and grating. The holes you see in the car, those were in the casting so that they could run all the air lines within, because all the air lines run inside the end bodies of the car, so for all the brake lines. So literally, to still have access, they just put grating over this so people could walk over it and not fall through those access holes. So that's where this particular car came from. So we can have cars that have the grating decks and square jacking pads, wood decks and the A-frame jacking pads, none and either or, but most of the ones without tended to have the wood decks long into their thing, from what we've been able to tell from our history. You know, we're always looking for any input that we can get for any other details. Pictures on these, especially because they're old cars, there's not a lot of pictures out there, and that's what we need to model these for everybody right. So everything that we're modeling is off of photographs. So as we look at some of the details on this, we've got all of the brake detail on here. You've got all the hand brake detail, both ends. Because these were heavy-duty cars, they needed braking from both ends of the car. Otherwise, you know, you could have runners because they're very heavy. These were 250,000-pound capacity cars. So 125 tons was the rating on these cars. So that's quite a lot to stop with your brake system. So they had dual redundant air brake systems on there. And when we've done this, we have included all of that brake detail is inside the ends of the cars. It's all there. We have included every bit of that in these models. So you're getting a very, very complex, beautiful, and detailed model on these. So we're going to be doing these in 15 different road names, and we're going to have 22 different cars. So there'll be 4 road numbers in Southern, and there'll be 4 road numbers in Conrail. All the other ones we're doing, there'll be 2 in CSX, 2 in B&O. One of the B&Os is actually B&O and CSX together, so that was kind of cool. We thought that paint scheme would really look good. So we're going to have a total of 22 different cars that you can order with these. So these things are really nice. They're going to retail for $64.99 each. And we're also, for you guys out there, we're working on loads to go with these. Those are still in development yet. But we're going to have at least 4, what we're thinking about, maybe 4 really cool loads to put on these cars. So get your cars. These are selling fast. We've got a lot of pre-orders going right now. You can go to class1modelworks.com and pre-order this car, or however many you want. We've got a lot of people are ordering a number of the cars. So, you know, we're looking at Santa Fe and B&O and Frisco and Southern, Conrail, MKT, Union Pacific, Missouri Pacific, LNAL. We got the CSX Sioux line. I'm missing Sioux line there. So we've got a great variety of these cars going to be out there. A lot of really cool road names and paint schemes. And we look forward to you guys getting these, having these on your light, because the detail guys on these is absolutely incredible. You're going to really love having these on your railroad, and you want to get more. Some of you guys, for your Penske fans and that, once we get those Buckeye trucks out there, we're going to have a number of yours for the Penn Central, for the Penske, for New York Central. We'll start getting a lot of those other road names, some of them that were just in friction bearing. Oh, I forgot, we're going to have Erie and Erie-Lackawanna in this run as well. So we're covering a lot of ground with these cars, and we look forward to running a lot of them into the future, because there's going to be different configurations of draft gear on these, and we're going to try and get all that cushion draft gears as well. These are the standard draft gears that we've got on this first model. So there's a lot going on with these guys. Stay out there, stay with us. order what you need now, and keep an eye out for what you want in the future. So this is going to be a really good thing, and I think you're going to really like. We're here to help you build a state-of-the-art model railroad, and this is what we like to refer to as state-of-the-art equipment for your model railroad.
Wow, thank you again so much. Just a couple of questions. So you mentioned that all the variations that you have between these different railroads, the times they were built, the draft gear, the trucks, and you mentioned the decks, and you said that they have them, but you didn't say that you were going to model the different lengths. Are you planning on maybe doing different lengths in the future?
At this point, we're not looking at doing anything other than the 21-footers, just because they were the most common. But there were 18-foot decks out there. There were 22-foot decks. There were 26-foot decks. There's some 30-foot decks. And just looking at the cost of tooling, it's going to be a little bit economic issue to try and do all of those, because some of those were just done, cars for 3 or 4 railroads, and the feasibility of that for economic return is a little tough to to take care of. But we're never going to say never. If there's enough demand out there, we'll look at just about anything.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching Sean's Trains.
All right.
Hey, it's the end of the video, and you know what that is? That means it's time for a giveaway. And we're giving away something special. You had to be there to get it, unless you're watching this channel right now. I've got a couple little instructions for you. I'm going to show you what it is for. So here I've got the 3 Trainfest specials from Acura. They're all Wisconsin Southern hoppers. 2 of them are patches. This one's ex-Missouri Pacific. I'm not sure what this one is. And then that's one of the Wisconsin Southern just painted cars. But I'm going to give all 3 of these away to one lucky winner. What I need you to do is share this video, screenshot it, and then post on the Chicago Milwaukee Northwestern Facebook page if you haven't joined on there already, and you will be entered to win this. The first 10 people to do it will be entered. I will name off all 10 people, and then I'm going to draw your number. I'm going to put everything out, use a random number generator or roll some dice, and we're going to choose who the winner is. I'm going to ship them to you at no cost. So screenshot this video that you shared it on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Share this video, screenshot it, post on the Chicago Milwaukee Northwestern Facebook page, and you'll be entered. Remember, this is also only for the first 10 people to do it. So as soon as you see this video, get this done. If you didn't watch this video to the end, you might be missing out. Thanks for watching Sean's Trains, and we'll see you soon for another giveaway.